afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Government Press Office. My name is Nitzan Chen, and thank you for joining us today to these special briefings as we are mark the second day of Ramadan. Before we begin, we would like to wish you Ramadan Kareem to everyone celebrating here in Israel and around the world. Israel honors and will always uphold freedom of worship and religions for all, including the significant sites like the Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa. Freedom of worship has been one of the Israelis' core values since the establishment, and it is implicitly protected, and it is the Declaration of the Independence in 1948. The safe access for Ramadan observance will be preserved this month, as it is every year at this time. Amid the ongoing conflict with Hamas, Israel is working tirelessly to prevent a humanitarian crisis in Gaza by allowing the transfer of unrestricted humanitarian aid following inspection. This afternoon briefing aims to provide you all with accurate information about Ramadan in Israel during these challenging times. And now we will begin with presenting our speakers for today. Ophir Gedelman, which is the Israeli Prime Minister spokesperson and the Arab world. Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister Office. Chief Superintendent, Raf Pakad, Advocate Mirit Ben Mayor, Head of the Communication in Israel Police. Dr. Lior Ben-Dor, Chief Coordinator for Public Diplomacy and Arab Media in the Minister of Foreign Ministry. Shalom, Toda. And finally, Udis Shacham Maimon, spokesperson for the International and Arabic Media Jerusalem Municipality. Shalom for you as well. After the speakers will represent their remarks, we will be able to take some questions, as I said, at the end of the briefing. So I would like to start with Chief Superintendent Advocate Mirit Ben Mayor, and she represents our police. The microphone is yours. Thank you.
So I thought my name was complicated, but my rank is even worse. Okay, so good afternoon to all of you. Some of you, we've been meeting once a year here in Jerusalem, and usually a few meters from here. And as my friend Nitzan said, first of all, we want to wish all our Muslim friends Ramadan Kareem. And even though it's a different Ramadan this year, because unfortunately we're celebrating this holiday and other holidays while the war is still taking place, while there are still many hostages in Gaza, 134 hostages that are still there. But still, we will, as the Israeli police made a lot of arrangements and are very ready to enable, as we do every year, this holiday, and to enable our Muslim friends to practice the freedom of religion, to practice their holiday on Temple Mount. And in order to enable this, and you must understand that it's a different, as I said, it's a different situation than we're used to. Hundreds of police officers are right now spread over in the old city and all around the old city, enabling the transportation to move as freely as possible, and enable the thousands and maybe 10,000, I can say already after after 2 days, of worshippers to safely arrive at Temple Mount and practice the prayers. During the weekends, obviously, it's different. Our preparation is different. We are prepared for the Friday prayers with more police officers. Thousands of them will be in the area of Temple Mount, in the area of Jerusalem, on the ways that are reaching the Temple Mount and the old city of Jerusalem. During the whole this month of holiday, there are also holidays that are of the Jewish people and of Christians, and in this respect, we are preparing ourselves to enable these the practice of these holidays as well, as we believe that each religion should practice its holidays without interference and safely. Obviously, there are questions regarding arrests that were taken, maybe that are taken, that will be taken, and I'll just talk about it before you ask your questions. We are doing a lot of work regarding incitement. We have noticed that since the 7th of October, also before that, but especially since the 7th of October, there is a lot of incitement on the net, not only on the net, but especially. It's a part of what we believe that Hamas is doing, their actions that are taken in order to larger this war, and to bring in this war also the Israeli Arabs and also the ones that are not taking any part in this war, but they're really working tirelessly, as we are working tirelessly to enable the freedom of religion. They are working tirelessly since the 7th of October, doing a lot of incitement, and we are also working tirelessly to find these people that are inciting. We have arrested a lot of people, more than usual, I must say, and we're working. We have a special team dealing with incitement, looking for these incitement calls and messages. The Israeli police with our Israeli prosecution. And since the 7th of October, we've already brought to court over 100 and almost 170 people who we indicted for incitement. And just for your knowledge, in 2022, there were much less indictments to court. Maybe like, I don't know, about 15% of that number. So as we recognize that incitement is becoming more and more strong and is used as a tool in this war, and therefore we are doing all that's possible in order to stop it and to bring these people to court. Okay, one more point that I want to talk to you about, and then we have much more interesting people here who will speak to you. We noticed last Ramadan, and not only during the Ramadan, but we noticed that there's a lot of fake news on the net, on TV, on the paper, but mostly on the net. And also that we have noticed that especially in the first month or maybe 2 months of this war is being used quite strongly by the Hamas. We follow these fake news, and we let our citizens know that they can calm down, and that we are, as the Israeli police, are on it, and they can be calmed, because the fake news is also a tool used in this, let's say, psychological war. I can just give you one example. Last Ramadan, there was, and also this Ramadan, we see it already, fake videos about like fightings or situations that are not from this year, not from last year, but from many years ago. And then we made sure that whoever sees this fake news will see the right and the true picture of festives and videos from Damascus Gate and from the Temple Mount itself, showing people praying, people celebrating, and this is what we will continue to do in order to enable this holiday. Most of the people coming to pray want to come and pray quietly. And as we see every year, we usually see a small number of people, usually youngsters, who interfere and who try to do everything in order to get our attention. The ones who come to pray quietly do not respect that. They wait for this very important month of the year in order for them to be able to practice. So we're here. We will do everything possible to enable this month to be quiet. Obviously, it's tense, but we're ready for that. Thank you very much. And Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you, Mimit, for taking the challenges to a proportion. Our next speaker is Tal Heinrich, the spokesperson of the Prime Minister. Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tal Heinrich, and I'm a spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister's office. I would like to begin by wishing Ramadan Kareem to those celebrating here in Israel and our Muslim friends around the world, especially in countries with which we have peace agreements. May this holy month, I should say, be meaningful and bring peace, joy, happiness to you and your loved ones. Here in Israel, we take pride in being a nation that welcomes all faiths and protects freedom of religion and worship. In that context, I'd like to remind you that the only time in hundreds of years when there has been freedom of religion and access to holy sites across our land has been since 1948 with the establishment of the State of Israel. The coming weeks will see 3 celebrations of the world's major religions. When Muslims mark Ramadan, Christians celebrate Easter, and the holiday of Purim celebrated by the Jews. Now, every day, as you just heard, over the next month, thousands are expected to arrive at the Old City in Jerusalem, in particular, and the surrounding areas. The overwhelming majority will come to pray and practice holiday traditions. But In every interview over the past weeks leading to up to Ramadan, my colleagues and I were constantly asked on air if Israel is concerned about the potential of increased violence during this time of the year. It is no secret that extremist terrorist organizations like Hamas, like Palestinian Islamic Jihad, are trying to inflame the region and even further, and not just our region. They've already called for attacks on Israelis and Jews during Ramadan. They already prepared plans to attack us. Just yesterday, the IDF spokesperson announced that Israel thwarted an immediate Palestinian suicide bombing in a joint IDF and ISA counter-terror mission. Jenin resident, his name was Muhammad Jabbar, he was eliminated in the town of Zeta while on his way to Israel to carry out a suicide attack. He was armed with a weapon and a ready-to-go explosive device. And this foiled attack adds to more than 250 other attempted attacks since the beginning of the year. Also, on Monday, the Italian police announced it arrested 3 Palestinians suspected in plotting terrorist attacks, including a suicide attack against civilian and military targets on foreign soil. The suspects are believed to be part of a cell linked to Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. They are a terrorist group as defined by Israel, the United States, the European Union, associated with the Fatah movement. And this is why we must be on high alert. We must prevent provocations should they arise. We urge everyone in the Muslim world not to listen to the terrorists. Ignore the false rumors and fake news they are trying to spread. Don't get played by terrorists. Know the truth. Access to holy sites will not be restricted, and Israeli security forces pose no threat to those who peacefully worship within them. The entry of worshippers to the Temple Mount will be permitted in similar numbers to previous years. I repeat this again. On the first week of Ramadan, there's not supposed to be any change in the amount of people allowed to enter compared to previous years. My statements here are in accordance with our security and public safety assessments. Israel will strongly safeguard the freedom of worship for all faiths at all sites in Israel, especially the Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa. Thank you.
Thank you, Tal. Our next speaker is from the Foreign Minister, Dr. Leon Ben-Dor, Chief Coordinator for Public Diplomacy and Arab Media in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Please.
Thank you, Nitzan. Hello to everybody. Although we are in a period characterized by tension and filled with complex and difficult feelings due to the war that began with Hamas' unprecedented October 7th attack against Israel, we must recognize the basic common interest of the peoples in our region, which is the desire to live in peace, security, stability, and freedom of worship. Therefore, we maintain dialogue with Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian side to ensure a routine as much as possible, including during Ramadan. We see the great importance in maintaining the dialogue with our partners who have signed peace treaties with us and share common interests with us. Therefore, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs fosters an open channel for diplomatic and political dialogue despite the differences of opinions and complexity and sensitivity surrounding the situation since October 7. We keep an open channel with the interlocutors in the foreign ministries of Egypt, Jordan, the Emirates, Bahrain, and Morocco. We discuss with them the importance of ensuring calm and stability in order to preserve the constructive platform which will be needed in the future. As part of our good relations with the Kingdom of Morocco, we responded to Morocco's request to allow the delivery of an aid package of food and medicine to the population in Gaza. This action indicates that in the framework of the view shared by Israel and the Arab countries, we must distinguish between the military campaign waged against the terrorist organization in Gaza and the basic and essential needs of the civilian populations in Gaza. For the Muslims among us in Israel and around the world, of course, we wish Ramadan Kareem. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Now we will hear from Udi Shacha Maimon, spokesperson for the International and Arabic Media at Jerusalem Municipality.
Excuse me, I will read from my phone. Since October 7th, we're in touch with local community leaders in order to understand their needs, including the holy month of Ramadan. Because we understand that this Ramadan is different for both Arabs and Jewish residents of Jerusalem, the main activity that the Jerusalem municipality will do this Ramadan is fund cultural events, and it will focus mainly in community centers throughout the city. Also, along with the Israel Police, we put together new movement and parking guidelines that will help visitors and residents to reach their holy sites. We are in constant dialogue with the residents in order to understand their needs in order to carry out our activities as a municipality. As you might know, Mayor Moshe Leon led the biggest development plan of East Jerusalem, which included building new schools, new infrastructures, parks, and more. We will do everything in our power to help residents and visitors to practice the holy month of Ramadan as they wish. And here I would like to wish our residents and visitors Ramadan Kareem wa kul aam wa antum bkhair.
Okay, thank you, Udi. Now we will hear, with your permission, Ophir Gedelman, the Israeli Prime Minister spokesperson to the Arab world, his briefings in Arabic, and then you can ask questions, and then we will conclude the briefings. Thank you.
Thank you, Nissan. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بكم في الإجازة الصحفي الخاص الذي يتناول التحضيرات لشهر رمضان المبارك. بمناسبة حلول شهر رمضان المبارك، فيما يلي تهنئة رئيس الوزراء نتنياهو والتي صدرت أمس. أهنئ مواطني إسرائيل المسلمين والمسلمين في كل أنحاء العالم بمناسبة حلول شهر رمضان المبارك، رمضان كريم. إننا نضمن حرية العبادة الكاملة في الأماكن المقدسة. نعمل ضد المحاولات التي تقوم بها جهات متطرفة لتأجيج الخواطر وللتسبب في اندلاع أعمال عنف. يا ليتنا نحقق حتى حلول شهر رمضان القادم الانتصار على تنظيمات الإرهابية التي تهددنا جميعا ونواصع دائرة السلام التي تخدمنا جميعا. وكما قال رئيس الوزراء كعادتها، إسرائيل تصون حرية العبادة للمسلمين في الحرم القدسي الشريف بحذافيرها وتعمل على تأمين الصلاة فيه. عدد المصلين الذي سيدخل الحرم الشريف سيكون على غرار الأعداد التي سجلت في السنوات الماضية. سيتم اتخاذ قرار حول ذلك أسبوعيا وفقا للتطورات. للأسف نحن نعلم جميعا بأن هناك تنظيمات إرهابية مثل حماس وجهات متطرفة أخرى تعمل على تأجيج الخواطر من أجل إشعال فتيل العنف والإرهاب في الأماكن المقدسة. وكما هي عادتها كل عام، هذه الجهات تروج الأكاذيب والأخبار الكاذبة والافتراءات وتمارس التحريض، ولكنها ستفشل لأن جميع المواطنين هنا قد شاهدوا هذا التحريض وهذه الأكاذيب سابقا، وهم يعلمون يقينا بأن لا أساس لها. إسرائيل تصون الوضع القائم في الأماكن المقدسة ولن تغيره. لا نسمح لأحد بتعكير صفو الحياة المشتركة في أورشليم وصفو السلام وحرية العبادة في الحرم الشريف. ندعو الجميع بعدم ترديد وتصديق الإشاعات التي لا بد لها من أن تكون كاذبة وغير دقيقة. استمعوا فقط إلى البيانات الرسمية التي تصدر عن الحكومة الإسرائيلية والشرطة. وفعلا شاهدنا منذ بداية الشهر أن سكان الأحياء العربية في أورشليم يتوافدون للصلاة بهدوء وأمان، عشرات الآلاف من المصلين وصلوا أمس إلى الحرم لأداء صلاتي العشاء والتراويح بكل حرية واطمئنان. سنعمل على أن هذا سيستمر طوال أيام الشهر الفضيل، ولكن على خلفية الحرب التي تدور في غزة هناك محاولات من قبل بعض الجهات المعادية لتصعيد الأوضاع، وأكد على أننا على أهبة الاستعداد للتعامل مع أي طارئ. شكرا جزيلا، صوما مقبولا، وكل عام وأنتم بألف ألف خير.
What a lovely language. I wish I can understand everything, but next time. Okay. Please, any questions? Please introduce yourself, what media outlet you are representing.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Gregor Meyer. I'm a reporter for the German press agency TPA. My questions are to Ms. Heinrich. First question, it was mentioned already last week by the Prime Minister as well, that there's no change for the regulations for the Muslims visiting the Temple Mount during Ramadan. But what does that mean? So what regulations had there been last year which, for the first week at least, will not be changed? And my second question is, what are the regulations for Jewish Israelis who are also at certain times going to the Temple Mount? What are they allowed to do? Which numbers? How is this handled?
Thank you for. Can they hear me or should I come?
לא, please. רגע, אבל יש עוד טלפון? יוצא.
Thank you for your question and for pronouncing my last name as it should. I'll address your first question before. When we say that entry to the Temple Mount is allowed in similar numbers, Ophir just said it in Arabic, but I'll put it into English. It means that every week there will be assessments, also by the police. Maybe Mirit can expand on that, of public safety considerations, but also security considerations. We bring these things into account, and we'll assess the number of people who will be allowed in. Right now, as for the first week of the holy month, we can say that there's no change in the number of people allowed to enter compared to what we saw in previous years. In other words, despite of the war, business as usual, and it's a major effort, as you just heard by my colleagues here. Now, as for your second question, I'll have to check and get back to you, because I'm not sure in what pertains to Jewish worshipers. But I can tell you that when it comes to Jewish worshipers in the Western Wall, for example, I know, but that's I can tell you this, and that's important to mention, because since the beginning of the war, since October 7th, the amount of people allowed in for security reasons, for public safety reasons, is actually reduced. So it's important to say here that the number of people allowed, the number of Muslim worshippers allowed to enter the Temple Mount, there's no change there. But since October 7th, we have seen a decrease in the number of Jews allowed to enter their holy site of the Western Wall because of safety considerations.
Thank you, Tal. Yes, please.
Hi, thank you so much. Carrie Kellerlin from the Wall Street Journal. Tal or Mirit, are you able to give numbers? How many worshipers have come in over the past 2 days? How many worshipers usually come in as opposed to last year? And also, could you comment on a video that was seen in social media, I believe it was Monday night, of border police hitting worshipers in the Old City? Sunday night, sorry.
So I do not have the exact number. We've saw some reports from regarding a few tens of thousands, but we estimated it's about something like 20 or 25,000. And what my friend Tal said here is very, very correct. When I checked before coming here, if the numbers are different than the ones that we're used to in previous years, and I expected that there might be lower, just because of the situation that we're here now in a war, and there are also we also have Muslim soldiers that are fighting from if in the IDF. So I expected that it might be lower, but it's not. I expected that this year is lower. This is we only had 2 days. Yeah. So up until now, I know that last night what we estimate is pretty much 20 or 25,000, but it's only in the middle of the week. Usually, Fridays it's something else. This is why we are preparing differently. And regarding your second question, we saw, we're aware of this situation. Obviously, it is being checked and taken care of, because it's not something that we can, close our eyes and pretend it didn't happen. But luckily, as we checked, it was one situation and one scene, and not like some of the press reported at first, that there were multiple scenes like that. It was one. We're taking care of it, and we're making sure, as a part of our preparation, we speak to our to the police officers, to the border police officers as well. We speak to them. We prepare them not only to this situation, but also to situations in which we know that masses of people will be coming to. It could be here, it could be in Tel Aviv, it doesn't matter. So we prepare them, to situations in which there would be conflicts. Sometimes it works, usually it does. In this situation specifically, as I said, one situation that we're taking care of it, hopefully it won't happen again.
Thank you, Merit. Yes, please.
Samuel Forêt for Le Monde. There are actually restrictions of entrance for West Bank residents, right? Main aged 55 and over, children under 10.
55.
55 and over, yeah. So why Muslims from the West Bank cannot access to the Haram al-Sharif? First question, and then would you lift these restrictions according to the security situation?
I think Merit already answered your question. We don't know exactly. Would you like to? ענית כבר, לא? אין מה. אז אולי אופיר. אז אופיר, אולי אתה.
So, yes, there are restrictions over Palestinians in the West Bank, in the sense that only men above 55 and women over 50 can enter. Why? Because there's a tense security situation. Over the past year, more, there have been counterterrorism operations in the West Bank foiling imminent terrorist attacks that Palestinians are plotting to carry out inside Israel. So we cannot pretend that everything is fine, that everything is calm, that as if war is not raging on in Gaza, as if the security situation in the West Bank is fine. So if the situation was fine, as it has been in some previous years, then the policy would have been, let's say, more lenient. But since we have an obligation to protect our people, yes, only people that we know that are not involved in terrorism. That means that all youngsters above, let's say, 20 and above cannot enter. Now, we will make assessments according to the security situation, and if we can change it, we will. But ultimately, the goal is to keep the holy places safe and secure.
Merit, would you like to?
Well, after Ophir, there's not much to say, but I will say that obviously, as the weeks will go by, and every day we're doing a situational assessment to make sure that everything is okay, to make sure that we're all planned and ready for to end this day, to start the next day. But we cannot pretend that nothing is happening around, and therefore we have to take one day at a time, and we have very, very professional commanders that are leading this very important month. And according to the situational assessment, we will plan our days. As per now, freedom of worship, this is our main goal.
Thank you, Marie. I think we will take one or two more questions. Yes, please. Okay, so we will take 2 or 3 questions together, and yes, you will be the first. Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm David Isaac. I'm with JNS. This is for the police spokeswoman and maybe also for Gettleman. I think you said there were 250 foiled attacks since the beginning of the year. How does that compare to other years? And yeah, I wanted to get an idea of what the threat level is versus other years. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is only March, right?
That's true.
Comparable period.
Okay, the guy with the...
Hello, Adam Sella with the New York Times. There have been reports of worshippers who've been turned away at the entrance to the Al-Aqsa, and I would like to ask what are the reasons for this, if there's some sort of policy on the ground.
Okay, and last one, please. Yes.
Hi, here's Xiaoyu from Phoenix TV and the television in Hong Kong. And I would like to ask for 2 questions. One is about we saw Hamas person and declared to encourage more people to do the march in Al-Aqsa. So is the march allowed or some limitation? And another question is, and I saw the local media, J-Post, say something happened in the night of 10th March. And there are some clashes in the old city. So is there some limitation for the Muslim person to the Aqsa Mosque? That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Last question, yes, lady. 1 second.
Hi, I'm Kyodo News, Japan. I'd like to ask about incitement. What kind of style is incitement? Because I heard in many young Arabs, because they say that it's not incitement, but there's sometimes police to came. They have some kind of a regulation of what kind of type can be the incitement. And then another question is, how do I know this is fake news? This is a previous picture, or this is on this like a recent incident? Because some of the people not living here, it's quite difficult to figure out what is fake and what is not fake. So if Israel give to some kind of suggestion to how to deal with fake.
Good question, actually. Okay. קודם. טל, נראה לי שתתחילי את, לא? אז תתחיל.
So with regard to the numbers of attacks this year compared to last year, as far as I remember, last year there were over 500 foiled attacks. And we know that ultimately this is what the terrorist organizations are doing. They're applauding terrorist attacks all the time. The fact that we are able to foil such a huge number of attacks is a testament to the capabilities of the Israeli security services, because all these attacks are aimed to kill Israelis. These are not protests. They never plan to come and wave signs and shout slogans. They come to kill, just like the attack that was foiled yesterday. So we know that there is huge motivation by various terrorist organizations, not only Hamas, but also Islamic Jihad and factions that are affiliated with Abu Mazen's Fatah organization, and they're all planning to carry out attacks in Israel. There were even cells that are sympathetic to ISIS that were busted in Jerusalem, So there is, let's say, maybe the scene seems calm, but under the surface there's, a boiling tension of attacks that are being foiled all the time.
Ophir, I think you should also address the question about the incitement that you see in Arab media, Arab social media, and how to recognize it.
Yeah, so it's actually very, very easy to recognize it because it's always the same. They say that Israel wants to that Israel wants to give the Al-Aqsa Mosque to the Jews, which is false. That Israel is digging underneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is false. That Israel wants to change the status quo on the Temple Mount, which is false. And all other, let's say, rumors and fake news are basically offshoots of these three main stories. So every year we're refuting these stories. And I have to tell you that this year, we've seen that Jerusalemites, Arab Jerusalemites, don't listen. And Arab Israelis don't listen to that because they know it's fake. Now, unfortunately, these fake news are not only, let's say, appearing on social media, but there are various Arab media outlets that are spewing these kinds of lies all the time. So it is a challenge for us to fight these, let's say, these lies and these fake news, but we're doing it. And fortunately, what we've seen since the beginning of Ramadan is that things are calm and quiet, and we hope that it will stay this way.
Leo, would you like to add for this? Okay, Udi? Tal?
I think we answered most of the questions.
Okay, מירית, finally, רוצה להגיד משפט לסיום?
Well, your question, Adam, is very, very general. You asked, you said that you saw or you heard that there were some, or you reported. So I don't know I really don't know the answer because I do not know this certain case or cases that you're talking about. Possibly, there were situations that were like how can I explain it? When a person also comes to a soccer game, okay, and something happens outside of the soccer game, maybe he will not be able to enter because of his actions, specific actions. So I don't, as far as I know, because I did not hear of, I know that there are no restrictions that are written for certain type, number, age that will not be able to enter. That's a no. But if there were specific actions that were taken on spot, or if there was maybe intelligence regarding a certain person or actions that could be that will or are planned to be taken, then obviously I believe that this was or this could be a reason for not enabling. But we are responsible for the safety not only for the ones outside of the mountain, but the ones that are praying on the Temple Mount. So could be some the security, or I don't know, but if you want to ask us regarding a specific situation, then you're more than welcome. You know our phone very well.
Thank you, Mirit. Thank you, Adam, for your question. I think we will conclude here this briefing. Thank you very much for coming to this important briefing, and we hope to see you all again soon in our next upcoming events. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being Shalom, Shalom from Jerusalem.